It's Friday. Welcome to the show. It's Your View on TVC. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and I'm really excited to be on the show today. Most importantly, Nima is wearing one of my favorite colors. At least two people are wearing one of my favorite colors, which is blue, my brand color. So I love to see blue all the time. Puts me in a good mood. Surprisingly, people say blue is you're feeling blue, but for me, blue is like exciting. How are you doing? Is it exciting blue?
Yeah. I missed my big uncle's birthday. Uncle Femi Adeniran. Happy birthday, sir. It was over the weekend, last weekend, and I just couldn't make it all the way to Ikorodu. But you mean a lot was Daddy Nurse? His wife is the nurse. My children call Mommy Nurse and Daddy Nurse. Okay. Happy birthday, Daddy Nurse. He turned 60. Happy birthday, Emiyagun, Igba Odun Odukon. And Yajede, I am sorry that I did not show up. I missed all those your food. Chala, I'm working towards my visit. It will be a weekend-long visit. I would go and stay there. Happy birthday, sir.
It is well. Happy birthday to him. All right. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yesterday we went to the market and I entered the market with $500,000. So I was feeling very big, like, man, I'm going to shop and get correct stuff. In fact, when I entered the market, by the time I finished shopping, I carried my load myself. Before, when I enter, like, okay, as of 2 years ago, if I go into the market with $500,000, I'm coming out with, there will be a labo carrying my load.
Yes,
and me too, I'll be carrying. But this time around, I carried my load out myself. The inflation is serious. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. We went to do shopping for the kids. They're going back to school over the weekend. We went to get pants, bras, all those things that they usually. It's just
Thank God
too much money chasing few goods. That's just what's happening.
As well.
Let's hope.
Mariam, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yesterday was a special day. I took my daughter out for lunch and she really enjoyed it. I did not know how much it meant to her that I know it's a nice thing, but the way she was like, I really am so happy. And you know how expressive she can be. So I'd done one earlier with her brother, but this yesterday was with her, and it was really lovely to spend time, with her one-on-one. You get to talk about some things. That bonding time is really important. Sometimes we take our children for granted. It's not a child, but, it's good to spend that time and get to know them better.
I'll take one twin per time. So we'll not do one for one child, one for second child, one for third child.
They love it, actually. They love it when you take that time for an individual, It makes them feel extra special.
I'm going to do it, but I'm very grateful to God. You see, there's a gospel song by one guy, Prince Emmanuel, say God no go shame us. When you've made promise and made commitment that you will do something, and you're looking at your account and saying, God, the day is coming, It was not like the person was not, you cannot say you will do something and then you don't have, but God has really been faithful with me that I've become very audacious in promising some things that I don't have accounts to show up for. Yesterday, God miraculously brought in another miracle to meet the need. And now woke up when I said, God, you have been faithful in meeting my last minute miracles. I want to extend this abundance so that it will not be last minute that you'll be showing up for me, so that it will be surplus. Let it not be just just at the last minute. Let it be coming in abundance so that I'm not waiting for God. Father, Lord, I will not be put to shame. Your name will not be put to shame. They will not call me out before we will now have that show. But God is really being faithful.
Sometimes I think he does that so that it's him. But sometimes when you have it in abundance, you think, well, I am so organized, I'm so intelligent, I'm able to do
right
it.
Now, it's not my intelligence, so I'm totally depending on God's grace. Please, I have this quick gist. So I was invited, Mariah invited, told me to represent her at a military event. It's human rights.
Those pictures that you were hosting, yes.
Can you imagine? They said it to you. I was moderating a panel, this human rights and the military, how to improve human rights. So they had human rights activists and many paramilitary as well as police and the military there. And I actually made a mistake. I didn't read. See this thing about not reading. In this expensive field, I went on Tuesday to the place. I didn't read that it was 12. I just saw 10 in my mind. And I got there and they said, your event is not today, madam. This event, see, it's 12th. So I drove to the island and drove back home, almost full tank. In this well. They now went back yesterday to do it. And I was very humbled because those kind of silly mistakes, we don't make it anymore. Not everything you want to do. If you have an appointment, cross-check your appointment again.
Check everything.
Don't assume and enter the road and then find yourself, It's an expensive mistake, but I'm really grateful to God. I had a great time. The military, hearing their perspective was really humbling because we in the media as well as civil society tend to just assume that they are not conscious of this, or they're not as caring, or they are just killing people. But many of them lose their lives in this line of duty, and some of them have to obey the last command, even when some of them feel like this command is not
when the person loses their lives, it's final. When the person loses the means to live well, so some of them come out not as hale and hearty as they went in, broken, and the system doesn't take care of them. Those are the people that I see most. And I have, a case of the one that happened in Delta State when I was screaming. A young boy, very young boy, less than 30, who had just joined, was killed in that, massacred in that experience. The father is my neighbor. And when you see people talking passionately about it, because you see the side of the pain, it will seem as if you're not understanding, but it will feel better.
Yeah. As we go on a break, I just want to celebrate all our military personnel everywhere around the country, putting their lives on the line, and all our security officials generally putting their lives on the line. We appreciate you. We would not be able to sit down here freely if you were not doing what you're doing. When we return from the break, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Still Your View on TVC, and we're starting our front page review with The Nation. The major headline: governors rally support for devastated Borno flood victims. And this is a very impressive move by the governors. We have a few governors in the picture. The governor of Lagos State, as well as the governor of Kwara State, as with their companion, or their colleague, the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, inspecting the flood in Maiduguri yesterday. In other news, Sweden offers immigrants $34,000 to leave country. Ekiti pays 71 million naira as compensation, and reign of tribute for Owa Obokun Aromolaron, who passed on. 17 passengers missing as truck knocks bus into river at Ife. 440 million naira contract probe. The ICPC summons Kano speakers. Other. Labour Party crisis. Umebak Sabure must go decision. CBN demands monthly POS transaction report. And Nigeria to get 589 billion impact on health. That's others with Britain. We also can't miss the picture of the president, our President Tinubu, with the King Charles III on Wednesday in a meeting as well. So what story are we starting with?
Let me do the Sweden. So Swedish government have said that they will drastically increase grants for immigrants who choose to leave the country and return home, to encourage more immigrants to go. And so they said as of 2026, immigrants who voluntarily return to their home countries would be eligible to receive up to 350,000 Swedish kronor. That is about $34,000. And they said this is propped to by the immigration Swedish Democrat. They said there will be a paradigm shift, and this policy has been in existence since 1984, but is relatively unknown. So currently, immigrants in the country who choose to leave, for an individual and adult, will get 10,000 kroner per adult, 5,000 kroner per child, and a cap of 40,000 kroner per family. But they're looking to increase it to 350,000, as opposed to, I just took the stories, interestingly, as opposed to the British policy of escorting some immigrants to Rwanda. As opposed to that, you give.
But this one is given because they can afford it now.
If it is greener pasture you are finding, you collect $34,000, come back home, and whatever skill you have, come and put it to use. Oh. That's what they are looking at. Some way to encourage it. I think it's more dignifying than shipping to some other unknown places.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so I have the story of the 440 million contract probe. They said the Kano State House of Assembly Speaker Jibril Falgore, Deputy Speaker Muhammad Butu, and 3 others have been invited for questioning as part of the ongoing probe of the 440 million drugs contract scam in 44 local government areas in the state. They were invited by the ICPC, that's the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. They said the commission is investigating alleged violations of the provisions of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences. They said that the contract, which was meant for the supply of drugs to the 44 local government areas, was alleged to be breach of the state's procurement law and financial management law. They said that they received an intel from a whistleblower on the drug scandals, and we have decided to investigate all the allegations. They said the ICPC chairman, Dr. Musa Aliyu, who appeared before the Kano State High Court yesterday, said the chairmen have no local standing to institute the matter because the Supreme Court has declared all the caretaker committees in local government areas as illegal nationwide. And he also said the resolution of the Kano State House of Assembly to extend the tenure of the 44 chairmen of the 44 caretaker committees in the council was not valid. So they are trying to say that the 44 local government people, that they are not even supposed to even be part of the investigations. They are not even supposed to still be there as the caretakers. So
I have, okay.
The ICPC?
No. Oh. So records of all points of sale transactions, that's POS transactions, are to be submitted every month according to the CBN, and they have directed 2 licensed payment terminal service aggregators. They're called PTSAs, the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System PLC, NIBSS, and the Unified Payment Services Limited, UPSL. These are the 2 terminal service aggregators that have been licensed to do that. And they're saying that the CBN had actually sent a circular ahead saying that in order to achieve the objective of tracking electronic transactions in Nigeria, that's why this has been set up. This is, we always say follow the money, or it seems like in Nigeria we cannot follow the money. Some transactions happen and they disappear. So this is government's way of, making sure that all transactions, especially in this case via POS, we're able to follow the money.
Now the ATM machines are no longer working.
Oh, they are not?
They are not.
No, the ones at the banking halls work. I think it's the ones that are outside, maybe not, but most of the ones.
But POS is more convenient than going to.
But you pay money to withdraw money.
We still pay money to
the POS.
Moving on to the Punch, major headline: Edo government polls, opposition fears violence as PDP shuns peace accord. In other news, we have PDP governors lose as National Working Committee hands Wike Rivers control. Blind mothers missing kid found in Lagos after 10-month search. Recapitalization, manufacturers SME struggle as banks take over the capital market. NNPC Dangote high crude oil sale, products buyback deal. NNPC team to monitor production at refinery. Tinubu governors Obasanjo mourns as Owa Obokun joins his ancestors. OPS writes AGF over $2.4 billion forex contract breach, and the US consulting with Nigeria to counter terrorism from General. So, what are we starting with?
So I have the blind woman story. According to Punch, the 2-year-old daughter of a visually impaired woman, Agnes, who had gone missing since November 2023, were found recently. According to them, the 2-year-old was in company of a 13-year-old stepsister of hers, and the 2 of them were playing in front of their house in Akowojo area of Lagos. And suddenly the mom couldn't hear any of their murmurings anymore. So they had gone off. She raised alarm. Their dad came in, they reported, but they didn't find them. Fortunately, they got a call from an orphanage in Bariga that the 2 of them were there. Someone had called their grandma, and eventually they went there and found them. They were said to have been found wandering around Agopa last week, and they were rescued by a police officer. And I wish the name of the police officer was mentioned. I just want to commend her work. And she took them to the orphanage, and from there, they reached out to their parents from there, and they were rescued. I'm just grateful.
This is 10 months.
10 months.
10 months.
Remember?
Thank God, Dave.
I'm happy that it's still, because usually once it passes a month or 2, people tend to give up, but I'm happy that they follow through.
Child,
yes.
They're both young, 13
yes.
too. It's extreme, but the case ended well, so I'm just grateful.
Good work to our security agencies. that worked on this. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the front pages of the papers and we were taking a story from The Punch. Mariam, you have a story?
Yes, so it's saying here that the commander of the United States Africa Command, Marine Corps General Michael Langley, on Thursday said that the U.S. is consulting with Nigeria to counter terrorism. Although on the headline it says consulting with Niger, but here it's obviously Nigeria, in the in the report itself. He explained that the U.S. military withdrew from its former base in Niger Republic on the demands of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland. But, they have been making collaborative efforts to counter terrorism in West Africa, and Nigeria has, invited them for this. But they also emphasize that the U.S. intervention is based on invitations from African countries. So they're not coming in without your invitation. If you think you need them, they'll come. But they're also saying African-led security efforts needs local leadership in tackling some of the continent's most pressing threats. So it's not as it used to be, oh, America's come and save us, whatever, come and save us. First of all, you have to invite them. Second of all, they are also telling you that there's some things you have to do locally for, some of these threats that we're facing. Anyways, the general message is just to say that they're working with Nigeria right now. We're in talks and whatever needs to be done concerning terrorism, that's what the
I was going to comment from a place of knowledge as I had a with some military personnel yesterday. A tete-a-tete with military personnel yesterday about the fact that the military would not want to harm citizenry because they know they need the citizenry. Without the cooperation of the citizenry, anything they want to do would fail. Because you need that intelligence from them, and if they don't trust you, they won't give you intelligence, and you cannot fight the war without intelligence. You have a story too, I'm sure.
I have a story on recapitalization. The recapitalization, as we all see, that they're saying that it's affecting the SMEs a lot. So they said the ongoing recapitalization by bank is squeezing out manufacturers and other small businesses as they endeavor to raise fresh funds. They say as the country's banking sector undergoes a sweeping recapitalization process, small and medium-sized enterprises are feeling the pinch. The Central Bank of Nigeria's directive for banks to shore up their capital base has led to tightened lending conditions, raising concerns over financial inclusion and access to credit for the country's vital SME sector. They said for SMEs, which accounts for over 48% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, according to the World Bank, the recapitalization process has introduced new challenges because the interest rate is very, very high, is above 30%. They said the current credit squeeze could stifle their growth, particularly in undeserved regions where financial services are already limited. So for SMEs, the hope is that once the dust settles, a stronger banking sector will emerge, better positioned to support their growth. Let's hope that they reduce this interest. It's basically the interest rate is too high. And then the banks are struggling to be able to get that $500 billion base. So all that is affecting the small businesses.
I have to take this story. The Ilesha as a town has been thrown into mourning. Ilesha is a town in Osun State, and they lost their king, the Owa Obokun of Ijesha. No. Of Ijesha land, Oba Gabriel Aromolaron. Condolences have come in from the president, the governors, all of them talking about his role. He had a 42-year reign. Yes, 42-year reign. He died at 86 years old.
That's a good one.
Yes, he did live long. I knew of him, heard of him in songs. He was well praised. But what the leader spoke about it was very important, that he took his throne above partisan politics that took place over. For you to reign for 42 years, you've met many politicians. He said he didn't get involved with partisan politics. He provided, according to the ex-president, this is from our president right now, that he didn't play partisan politics. He was open to all political tendencies, and he supported the presidency at any point in time and different presidents. But the ex-president mentioned he gave wise counsel, he had aspiring leadership, and he was consistently dependable to when you needed any form of support concerning that region, and it will be deeply missed. I'm sure all the people...
Correct. It's our Oboku.
I know it very well. I've been to Ilesha, and I really heard about the man. So he's a well-respected and loved man, and our heart goes out to the family and the entire people of Ilesha. Moving on to Daisy's son, flooding is still being talked about. Death toll rises to 259 in 172 local governments. So this is beyond the Maiduguri state. NEMA, military, others identify rescue operations as doesn't remain trapped in Maiduguri. Then the Algon, which is the local government, commiserates with victims and urges action. Petrol, for petrol marketers, they've petitioned President Tinubu over Dangote's refinery diesel price drop. And both MISAP, NIWA assures 72 naval personnel to implement waterway code in Lagos. Nigeria signs partnership agreement with UK, gets 589 billion naira in support. 100 billion naira deal, Governor Umba flags up revitalization of Enugu Palm Company. That is an interesting story. Sad story, explosion kills couple in Ugbohmah State. Ramfac chair Shehu in trouble over $2.4 billion payment. Allegedly engages new registered company for a 330 million disbursement. Owabokun still in the story. We've taken that story already. What story are we going to start with?
Let me start with Niwa. Speaking during the sensitization tour of some of the jetties in Lagos, the area manager of the Lagos area office of the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority said that they have been aided by the Nigerian Navy. So the Niwa Navy has given them 72 personnel to ensure enforcement. And they also said now that there's a new code. It's called the Waterways Code for Lagos, and is now gazetted. So it is no longer word of mouth. According to Mrs. Sarat Brahima, who is the area manager, she said that this is now going to become law and enforced. It's no longer a word of mouth to all the operators within the waterways, especially boat operators. Now there will be charges and consequences for overloading of your boats, not using your life jacket and all of that. Okay. And so they will be going on and on, training and retraining, and continuously sensitizing the operators, passengers as well as operators within that area. But then there will now be consequences for any of such accidents. We've always been talking about.
Yeah. Taking forever. I have the human interest story.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So an explosion has killed a couple in Ugbohmah State, and this is such a sad story. So this couple had moved. They said they're called George and Chioma Buchi, and they live in Abakaliki, or lived in Abakaliki, and had just moved into their new house. And although there are like 3 different accounts of what may have caused the explosion, so they said that. Eyewitnesses said that what they heard was an explosion. Some people were saying a gas cylinder, some people thought it was inverter battery, and something else. But some of the neighbors said that for them, they think it's much more than that. Some are speculating that it may have been a bomb of some sort that was planted in that compound. That because by the time they got there, the windows were shattered, everything, had caught fire. And the poor couple were rushed to the hospital. The woman died a few hours after she was there, and the man died, I think, a day after. They have had a 3-year-old who was at his grandmother's at the time. So that was how that child was saved. But it is such a sad story. Yes. And they also speculate, we're not sure that they may be related, the wife be related to Pato Ranking, the artist. So our hearts really go out to this family, and God comfort those that they have left behind.
Sure. Moving on to our last paper for today, Nigerian Tribune. 259 killed, over 1 million affected by flood in 29 states. That's from NEMA. UN Humanitarian Agency allocates $6 billion for Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. Aviation workers to shut down airport September 18. They reject 50% IGR deductions. NUT warns federal government against unchecked commercialization of education in Nigeria. Federal government signed CTC agreement to reduce airline operating costs. Or your bricklayers, shoemakers, hairdressers, others to pay taxes as Assembly passes presumptive tax bill into law. And Southwest states arrive at a plan of action to tackle food shortage. Well, there's another story that we really wouldn't have time to take any story in the paper. We're out of time already.
Okay.
But thank you. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we move on with our sponsored segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show right now is the co-founder and CEO of Octosoft, Mr. Mark Ugbohmah. He'll be speaking about transforming healthcare accessibility in Nigeria. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so when it comes to indices of development in any country, we're always talking about education, health, basic infrastructure being available, and a country cannot grow beyond the health of its citizenry. So what exactly is Octosoft doing to make healthcare more accessible to Nigerians?
Thank you very much. So Octosoft is a health tech company. We are focused on transforming healthcare experiences for individuals, for corporates, for governments, and for communities. So what we've done is we've developed a product, which is our Octodoc app. It's a mobile application which we've built with a focus to enabling access to quality healthcare. One of the challenges that we have experienced post-COVID-19 pandemic is, a situation where many of our doctors have relocated to other developed climes. This brain drain that we have seen, Japa syndrome, as we say, that has resulted in Nigeria losing a number of qualified doctors. As a result, at the moment, we have just about 35,000 doctors to a population of 220 million people. This creates a scenario where we have one doctor serving about 8,000 people, which is way below the standards set by the World Health Organization, which is one doctor to 600 people. So what we have done is we have used technology to try and broaden the access to healthcare, through our mobile app.
All right.
Okay, so this mobile app is called Octodoc.
It's called Octodoc.
Okay, so what are the specific features of this app?
So Octodoc is an app that runs on both your Android mobile phone. So if you use Samsung or any other Android phones, you'll be able to access it from the App Store. If you're using iOS, you'll be able to access it as well. The app itself enables people to be able to book appointments with doctors. So what we've done is we've aggregated hospitals into this platform. We call this app a digital front door. So digital front door to your healthcare service. So we've aggregated different hospitals. And if you want to now book appointments to see a doctor, you just go on the app, you'll be able to book an appointment. A lot of Nigerians complain about hospitals, time wasting, queuing up, and all that stuff. So we are trying to eliminate that, streamline that, because those complaints result in many Nigerians seeking self-help. When people are unwell, they just go to a pharmacy or to a chemist to buy medication rather than speak to a qualified doctor. Some people even go as far as calling a nurse to come and give them drips, injections at home. Well, we're saying the human body is very complex. We shouldn't just treat it the way we like. We should talk to the experts who have been trained for many years to help in that regard. So Octodoc allows you to do that. So in addition to being able to book an appointment for your physical, not just the virtual, for a physical in-person appointment to a hospital, so that when you have that appointment, you know when to go in.
Okay.
Your appointment is for 11 o'clock, you get in for 11 o'clock. You don't have to get in at 5 or 6 and queue. So we are trying to eliminate that, streamline the process. But it also allows you to do telemedicine. So if you don't want to go physically, you can do it virtually.
Okay.
Yes, you can do it virtually as well, to speak with the doctor.
I was going
Yeah,
to
okay, so this is a very good development,
Thank
and
you.
it's like a health insurance business, right? So what differentiates you from other health insurance businesses out there?
So we, as Octosoft, we are not a health insurance company, but we aggregate health insurance companies. So we have a number of health insurance providers already on the platform today.
Yeah.
Any individual can download the app. You would see health plans from all the health insurance, Bastion, Leadway, and M Health, all of them. We've put them on this platform, IGA, whichever one you want. So rather than going to individual HMO's website to research what plans to buy, we've put them together, compare them side by side, so you can quickly take that decision on buying health insurance. And we know the benefit of health insurance. Insurance for your car is in case of emergency, you know you are covered. You don't have to bring all the money out in the case of emergency because you have insurance. Likewise on your health, you're covered in case of serious illness. Your health insurance product will be able to support you in that regard. So
I was going to ask how wide is Octodoc, because when we see this app now, I think it covers a lot, and even into the remote areas of the country. But you'll be surprised that they'll be in the only in the capital. I know some hospitals
yes.
in the capital. So how wide is it really?
So we've just launched, but we are growing really fast. And one of the reasons why we're here is to promote this app a lot more. What we've seen since our launch is that some of the customers that are calling in are actually calling from remote areas. So people that have, we've seen callers from Akure, and other parts of, the country saying, they don't have doctors around them, but they need this care. So we are nationwide. The good thing about technology is you can reach anyone anywhere. Today we pick up our mobile phones, call people in Maiduguri and people in Cross River State, everywhere. So that's the reach, that's the access, which is what we are promoting through this technology to make sure people can reach doctors regardless of where they are.
Okay, so would your target audience be hospitals, insurance companies, and could that also be your target audience so that they get on the app
Onboarding.
and then clients would? So yeah, just a one-stop shop,
Exactly.
hospital, health.
Wise.
Yes, health sector.
Exactly.
Let me put it that way. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so what happens for a user now? Is it user-friendly? Can I go on as a user and pick a hospital, or I just pick a doctor?
Okay, so the choice is yours.
Okay.
We've made it such that it's very flexible. We've onboarded several hospitals on the platform. So if your hospital is one of them and you want to engage with your hospital, you can.
Okay.
When you download the app, sign up, you can use your hospital. There are a number of hospitals there already. We are scaling to get more hospitals on board. And these hospitals, when we bring them on board, they bring their patients as well. So they tell their patients, now we have telemedicine.
Okay, so it's like a software that can be used by hospitals,
As
well as by HMOs and as well as individuals. So it's like a holistic. I wanted to ask you about because among the things that you're offering as service is also the health information being in a same place, and it is addressing the problem of the fact that people have emergencies and they go to an hospital to visit a hospital and find that I lost my cousin. She has diabetes and she's being treated for diabetes, but when she had a crisis, she was rushed to the hospital, and because they felt she was faint, they gave her a drip that had glucose. She died. If there was a way to get that information on a software, a software format that any hospital you get to, you can just show them, they see your record. How does this now solve that problem, and how many people have access to?
Very good question. So one of the features is your health history. So the app, under your profile, you'll be able to see your health history. So as you consult with the doctor, when the consultation is done, you get a copy on the app. So you can take that health information wherever you are going. In the future, we are looking to add things like care for chronic conditions. So people diabetic or high blood pressure, you can be able to then monitor, medication intake as well. So where you've been prescribed, okay, take this tablet once a day, once or 3 times a day in the morning. You can, as you take them, you can check it off. Okay, and your doctor can see it and be able to monitor you remotely. So things like chronic care becomes even easier to manage.
Okay, so 2 things that discourage Nigerians is money.
Money.
So is it affordable?
Exactly.
And number 2, the ease of the app.
Yes.
For instance, if I have a hospital that is not captured in the app, can I upload suggest my hospital as one of the options so that,
we can speak with them? Absolutely. That's, we have a feature that allows you as a patient to say, oh, I can't find my hospital on this. When we see people make such references, we can show the hospital, look, your patients are already here. Be where your patients are. Come on board. Coming on board, it's pretty straightforward for the hospital. And you as a patient, right, if you're consulting with your hospital, every transaction you're doing is with your hospital. The normal fee you pay them, you pay them. But on Octodoc, we also have a set of doctors who are there on the platform that you can speak to for just 1,000 naira.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Very good. So, do you have physical offices?
Yes, we do. We do have a physical office. We are.
Yes, because I know there are so many people who are not educated that have just that phone, that Balasa phone. So, how will they reach out? Those kind of
information for them? Yeah, we are not solving every problem today, but we will. Exactly. We are looking to partner with some state governments so that we can deploy this technology to primary healthcare centers where people can work in and still be able to access this service. So we are working towards that as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uche, for joining Mr. Mark Ugbohmah.
Yes. Just before I go, can I just quickly say we are giving away, we're doing a promo, so we're giving away 50 lucky customers who downloads the app to their phone and sign up. Once you sign up, you would get 3,000 naira to your account.
Okay. And so you also have an account on the...
Yes, the app, we have a wallet for you. You can just, so we're going to give you 3,000 naira when you sign up. The app is Octodoc, OCTO.
Also, for everybody that signs up now,
using promo code YourView. One word, YourView. One word, YourView. Sign up, and you get a 3,000.
You just mentioned that you didn't mention before that we can have payments. You can have a savings if you have a wallet.
You can
have a saving towards your health.
Yes, exactly.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Octodoc.
It's definitely...
Thank you for having me.
Octodoc is the platform they search for on their phone, iOS as well as Android being covered.
Yes.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Don't forget to use the promo code YourView so that you can get the 3,000 naira voucher, which you can then use to consult on the platform. That's all we can take on the segment of the show. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you, sir.
Stay tuned. YourView will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The rise of ritual killings among Nigerian youth has gotten increasingly highly worrisome in recent times. And it has got people talking on social media. There was a video of a 100-level biology student of Federal University, Lokoja in Kogi State, confessing to ending the life of a female colleague who he kidnapped. The young man, identified as Jeremiah, was arrested by the Nigerian police officer in Kogi State. He took the girl to the bush and he buried the girl. The girl's name is Deborah, a female colleague. So we want to discuss this. We are discussing it because it is gruesome. What sort of person would do a thing like this? We saw the video, very young. Who should we hold accountable for this heart-wrenching trend? Is it the parents, the society, the social media, the law enforcement, or the judiciary? Who should we hold responsible? And most importantly, what can be done to reverse this ugly trend? That's what we'll be discussing on the show today. You can join the conversation by calling us. The number would show on the screen, 0810-7641-679. Or you can tweet to us at TVC Connect please hashtag YourViewTVC. We'd like to hear from you. We're also streaming live on YouTube where we can read your comments as well. So, yes, you saw the video. I know that Mariam was highlighting the fact that the boy looks so young.
And innocent.
And even innocent. Like, he's someone you will see and say, no, it's not true. If he wasn't really caught in the act. How did that make you feel, Mariam?
Yeah, it's really sad. You know, there used to be a time when you talk about ritualists and kidnappers, you imagine these old men with pot bellies who were going around, you know, preying on young people. But you never would think that young people, still in their innocence, would carry out, you know, gruesome acts like this. It's really sad. And I've just been thinking what is feeding into that behavior. What is it that our young people are learning that even gives them the audacity, the mindset that you can carry a whole human being and kill that person? Growing up, even to kill, you know, when you see animals being killed, like the ones that we eat, the chicken and the rams, there's a way a young person is, I don't want to see this. But now, you're a young boy, you're in 400 level, you're just your whole life before you, and you already have the mindset of killing, you know. And if it was, you know, there are issues where we talk about mental health, or maybe some people have psychological issues, but this killing is a ritual killing. So this is killing for material gain. So not only did this person kill and harvest her organs and body parts, also collected a ransom for the parents. You know, it's so that he can get what? What is it? What is so important? What materialistic thing in this world is so important that you're willing to take another's life and also completely end yours, because your life has ended. That is it. This is the end of your life, that you have been caught. And you know, when they catch them, I always say this: if you're a criminal, if you're an evil person, when they catch you, just carry it with your full chest. But they start screaming and crying. I'm like, what did you expect that will happen to you? You do not expect that this behavior has consequences. What are you crying about? You are crying that you've been caught. What did you expect, that your life will just go on freely and happily after you have destroyed others? Sad.
This is a sad one, very painful one. And the story had brewed over a while before the video of, you know, how she was strangled. There was a rope around her neck, and he confessed to dragging her there, you know. And I was just worried listening to it. I felt, who do I blame? Just as you were asking. I started with his parents, but then I blamed society. You know, parents and whatever bad policies they had would either form their kids, or society must correct the child. But now society doesn't correct, and it comes down to, in years now, we have not seen any form of capital punishment. We wonder...
Thank you.
We wonder why there's an increase. The laws are being passed daily. In some states now, if a kidnapped victim dies in your custody, it's death sentence. I think about 6 states have passed it into law, Kano recently, and you have more states like that signing up. But the laws are just there. The governors...
We need to call out our governors.
Run elections every 4 years, get in office. They don't know it is important to sign death sentences. If a person exhausts, I'm not saying that the courts are perfect. I'm saying if a person has exhausted their appeals, they've gone all the way to the Supreme Court, don't continue to use taxpayers' money to maintain them. Because society now thinks, if I get into the prisons or the custodial centers and I get holy or get pious, you know, there should no longer be consequence. You know, there's human law, there's God's law. And we don't enforce that. That's one. The second one is that we also are, you know, accommodating of materialism. There's a high level of Yahoo we have legitimized. Mothers spend Yahoo funds given to them by their children, and they excuse it. And so the person who know if you do, be looking. Last year or last 2 years, a set of boys who are supposed to have been in an Islamic school were somewhere in Ogun State hatching what to do with human body parts. They Googled it, they studied it. They had gone on Facebook, then they thought, okay, how do we get a woman? One of them dated a girl, invited her to Ogun State, where they not only killed her, roasted her, dried her body parts, pounded it, the entire process.
As they saw it on
human interest in the newspapers.
Yes.
And society still didn't react. We're looking at young boys having unexplainable means of monies in their accounts. We're quiet as a society. Recently, a set of boys have been extradited to the US for sextortion.
Yeah.
These boys didn't think anything was wrong in sextorting. It's just sextorting now. You know, take their nude. So they took nude pictures that, you know, that act a page of a female American and used it to request nudes of an American boy.
That happened.
Yeah. And they got the nudes and then they started to use it to blackmail the American boy, asking for $1,000. This boy is less than 18. He doesn't even have the meaning. The boy kept begging them in the space of about 6 hours. The conversation was ongoing and he was saying, I have only $300. He has sent it, please. And they were saying, okay. And he had said in the video, at this point, I think I should just kill myself. They said, go ahead or we'll make you. Nigerian boys who are supposed to be under their mother's wrappers. So as society, too many things that we have allowed, it's too wide.
You have to tell us how that story ends.
So fortunately, Nigerian government on this one did something. When the American government investigated and said this is a crime in their country and they wanted to enforce it, they have a crime established. They found the boys' names and everything, and the Nigerian government just put them in prison. Now they've extradited two. One is still in court trying to, to fight against his extradition, but two have gone. They'll be facing the American legal system for whether they are free or not. And you see it happen there. How many kidnappers have we been successful here with? Evans is still on trial. It's still just going up and down. Even though his victims are there trying to find solace, we still have children being kidnapped on our expressways, Benin or a road, every time. And nothing happens. They make money, they go back and re-strategize on another victim. We must have a system that is against it. Apart from kidnapping as a problem starting from this materialism that we have allowed, we have other ones. We have the robberies, we have the frauds and all of that we are allowing as a society, and we must have continuous precedents against these ills for it to change.
Yeah, so let me add to that story. I think the boy is how old? I say it is like 15 years.
Yeah.
16 years. And that's the reason why Australia now, they're trying to ban the use of social media from a certain age. They said they're going to ban TikTok and all those other
platforms.
So do you feel like, we're trying to analyze your thoughts and who do you believe is responsible? So you're thinking social media might have supported some of these things?
Yes, social media mostly. I remember last year when Buhari was in regime, he said lazy youths. That the youths are very lazy. And to a large extent, yes, everybody is looking for fast money, how they can make fast money. And, when these things are the menace to our society. It's not just only the rituals thing. There is cybercrime. There's also this, the Yahoo thing that people do. Fine. So the ritual thing, what happened with him was that when they asked him, he said he only killed her. That he didn't even remove her parts. So you killed her. Who did you go and tell that there's a body there? They now came to remove the parts and all. So he started lying and he started crying. What were you expecting? You did that and you're expecting that you won't get caught. You get caught some one way or the other. So now it's coming from a failed family system and also a failed government society, just like what Nima said. Society is already very corrupt and they support all these practices somehow, one way or the other. Just like Nima said, if they can bring anybody to book, it will drastically reduce this ritual killings and all this kidnapping and the cybercrime we see around. I think if that happens, we'll see something that will definitely come out.
For me, I feel that it was, I agree with everything that has been said because really, we've discussed this several times. We've discussed the fact that ritual killings happening among young people is becoming a trend. In the beginning, we felt it was just one of, this wicked person, this one is an unusual one. But when you are seeing it across, this is in Kogi, we saw one in Port Harcourt. We've seen in Ogusi, we're now seeing that it is not tied to a part of the country. It is not tied to socioeconomic class. This is happening across the country. Then it means that there is something we are not getting right. And we have highlighted some of the challenges. One big thing is consequences. It is what will deter people from doing what we're meant to do. And we've mentioned it here a few times, but we have to mention it over and over again. Our governors need to sign death warrants, like sign for capital. Those people that have been sentenced to death should be allowed to carry out their the punishment that has been assigned to them. And I don't see, especially when we want to deal with an issue, when you see this is a problem and I want to deal with it, we have to make a public show. Making a public show of it means that we would sign the death warrant. The governor will talk about it, that these 5 kidnappers that led to the death of these 5 people have now been sentenced to, not only have they been sentenced to, they will face the death by hanging. That sends a stronger message than any other thing. I also support the showing of video.
Yes.
Because when we saw the face of this young person, every other person knows that my face will go out, my parents will be put to shame, my family, everybody will get to know about what I have done. But he didn't like his face being, there was that shame and stuff in his face when his video was being recorded.
We're not older than the...
Please let me take Yakub, I'll come to you. Okay. Just immediately. I take Yakub, I'll come to you. Welcome to the show, Yakub. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Miriam, and then
Ramatu.
Ramatu.
Good morning. I think I didn't have failed. They have already failed. Since Anima says something like that, and then you're already spotted on that float as well. What is it that when the case passed through the court up to Supreme Court, that case may be in most cases completed in terms of capital punishment. And then after this case, and then the governor, they will never sign the death warrant. And then the day of their swearing in, they will say, I solemnly swear. All those things that they will swear, they will just lie to Nigerian citizens because it is part of their responsibility to sign the death warrant of somebody that killed, that already ascertained that soon let this person take someone's life. Let me give you a typical example here. Do you remember when the jailbreak happened in Abuja? When those Boko Haram went to Kuje prison and free all those Boko Haram that was in detention? So the question we need to ask our leader is this: the Boko Haram are taking a lot of people's lives. What made them keeping them for so long? For them saying that their members have come back, they free all those guys, and then they begin to again. Now, I think at this document, this is our own personal opinion. I think we need to take our law. I think our representative and the senator and that of the president, they need to do it for. What am I saying? If the governor fails to sign the death warrant of people that taking someone's life, what person may be to fail in that for the judge? When the judge gives it the judgment and then they are certain that too late, this person has killed somebody. We don't need this government because they don't do their job. So, I made a constitution. That's our personal opinion. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much. So he was saying that once they exhaust their appeal, the law should be changed that it does not require the governor's consent to execute the order. That it should just be, you've exhausted your appeal, the judgment is implemented regardless. Because I think some of our governors, because of religious tendency, don't want to put pen to paper to say I'm signing off someone's life.
I killed someone.
Yes, because it feels like I'm the one killing. But if you can sign pardon, you should be able to sign the death as well. It's just
your business is to manage society. Society must run. It must be on rewards and consequences. You know, we don't even reward good things, and we don't leave consequence for bad. Everybody is somebody we cannot handle, and it's where it's leading us that is dangerous. We become like lawless. People don't see. People think, you know, I just need to know somebody, and things will be fine. People don't see consequence for these actions. And so, wait, what's the big deal? What's the worst that can happen? I will just go. The boy that killed a girl when he had advertised a job in Ugbohmah, and this young girl unfortunately told her friend, and she went to that interview. She was now missing for
relationship.
The boy had he was not like this one. He didn't have any soberness on his face. He sat comfortably in that.
Nothing has happened to
Yes, nothing has happened. We are sure that nothing will happen and nothing has happened. He was reassured that nothing will happen and nothing has happened. That confidence is why we should be scared. You see now, you talk to a young boy who is just wondering that, why are you not in school? Why don't you have a job? And the boy will look at you like a busybody. And if you go to the mom as well, you're a busybody. In those days, we were not allowed idleness. They go find work, give you, go work here. I wrote my junior WAEC, and between that time and before the result would come out, we had a long break. Nani, I do.
You will do something.
I had 2 babies. You will be responsible for one auntie's baby. You won't have the time for your phone. Sometimes the babies will be crying. My mom will say, pass a phone. Meaning is that you back a baby that is hungry. You don't have breast milk, you don't have baby food, you'll now be walking up and down in the hot sun, doing like that for the baby. It was to keep you engaged. There was no chance, no space for that idle mind.
But this actually didn't happen through an unengaged mind. This person is...
No, we're just saying,
that's part of it.
I'm just bringing it back to society.
Prophet K1lling from Ajegule, and I'll come to you, Mariam. Prophet K1lling, welcome. Good morning.
Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Lima. I'm happy to get you today. I've been calling several times after I've discussed such a thing with you, but I couldn't get you. Let me just go straight to the point. The society has disappointed us. The security men, the policemen, they have disappointed us. The government has disappointed us. Why I said this is, I'm in Ajegule. I'm a member of the security committee in Ajegule Security Summit, whereby the judiciary also has disappointed us. Whereby you arrest somebody as a cultist, the policeman will release him, collected money from them, mostly all this rank and file. Collected money from them, and whereby some of the police officers are cultists also. Where will you run to? They will not come back to you. The cultists will not come back to you and fight you back. If not the present Lagos CCP office that has been promoted to AIG now, kudos to Adeleke. Kudos to him. A lot of police officers, they are cultists.
Prophet K1lling, well, that last comment was his opinion, but we will celebrate. I think we should. I love the fact that they celebrated specific police officers, because while we always quick to talk about they're collecting bribe, the ones that are doing the right things, we should mention their name and celebrate them.
Yes. So I was going to say that at first when I was describing kidnappers, how we saw kidnappers. These were people who were much older, were engaged in nothing. Evil was just their job.
Criminal.
Yes, but now we have students in school. And you know what is even scarier is that this is a fellow, sometimes it happens to like your fellow students who you've been in school with for years, who in your mind you feel that you know this person to an extent. You have built a relationship and you have some trust for this human being. And because you're in a setting of school, you would never think that there's such...
All of us are trying to get a degree.
Yes, you never think that such a person, exists around you. So that's what makes it even scarier, because at this point, you can trust no one. But now let's talk about why I feel this is so rampant. I think social media has a lot to do with it. And I mean in the way that a lot of materialism is being showcased on social media.
So here you are. Wealth.
Yes. So here you are. Or it may even be traceable. It does not matter. So someone comes online and shows their palatial houses and their clothes and shoes and their travel and everything. You, 22-year-old, 21-year-old in university, you're here thinking, I want that life now. I want it as I want it as well, and I want it right now. Meanwhile, you don't know the story, because we don't also tell that story. The story of how we have worked hard, how, hard work is even much better than, all these things that we're showing around. So we have, inadvertently, we've been preaching materialism over hard work, over character building. So our young ones, all they see is money, and, all our songs and that we listen to now also contributes in a way that if you don't have money, you're nothing. If you're a big boy, you're everything. So you're thinking, I want to be a big boy as well. I want to be able to do all these things. So we have to look at ourselves, all of us, because this society is not a society that is from space. We're all society. In what ways are we contributing to this menace that is materialism? Then there's the second one, which is we're so afraid also of calling out evil. And I can understand why, in many cases, why that happens. But you go to like a really high-end, expensive store. You see teenagers or barely above teenage age boys coming. They look like, you can tell that they don't look like they can afford it, but they are affording it more than anyone else. They are buying this. Or you hear people say, in my estate, this particular new buildings, they have bought it. If you see the cars that they're driving, but everybody is just looking. Nobody is saying anything. Because one, if you say something, the repercussions, yes, you can be the victim of whatever lifestyle it is that they're going through. Now, you also mentioned police officers. It's good to hail them when they do something good. And there have been stories where they have followed up, and we thank them for that. But there are also stories that we have heard. And because sometimes family and relatives have been involved, where the only way that crime could have been committed was because our security personnel, our police, have been compromised. So there are still bad eggs within the police force, and a lot of work has to be done at that level as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so speaking with what Miriam said, like the second part of where you were saying about the social media thing, all the high, whatever. I remember there was this parents to play a vital role too in promoting this thing. Okay, so I remember there was a time my daughter came back and she said that there's this teenage whatever, it's like a store like that. You go and then they will have a show and then you buy stuff there. I followed her there. Parents came to drop their kids. If you see what the children were wearing, kind of clothes that they were in, you could see them, all of them in designer stuff, you know, at just 18, 16, 17, 18. They're wearing, you know, designer shoes, designer, everything design. And then the clothes that they were selling there were like $500. They were not even selling in Nigerian currency. They're selling $500, $1,000, like that. So expensive. So family too, you know, those kind of things, they will grow with the fact that, oh, I need to keep having this kind of designers. And if they want to keep up with that lifestyle, it costs money to keep up with that lifestyle.
Can do the work.
They should do the work, but they will not want to do the work. They will not be looking for fast ways to do this thing. I remember I was in a salon.
Because we don't really talk about the work.
Yes. We don't talk. So I remember I was in a salon, and there was this guy, that's the woman, she was making her hair. The next thing they called her son called her and said his friend took him to one room, and then he went out and he locked the room after him. And he saw the friend discussing with some of the guys downstairs. He was like, mommy, something is wrong. Because the way he saw the environment, he just sensed that something was wrong. Good. And immediately the mom got up. She called the dad. Fortunately, the dad was in VI. He had to access quickly to Lekki because it was happening at Lekki. Quickly went there, and that was how they rescued that boy. If not, that boy,
you just never
usually is your friend that will definitely invite you. Now, that's the saddest part of this whole thing.
Let me take Peter from Magodo. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Mr. Peter.
Good morning, YourView. I really want to appreciate this your station for always calling out the evil that is happening in our land. You know, God will continue to bless all of you because this is the only station as of now that is at least bringing this into light. You know, I don't know, this issue of ritual killing and Yahoo plots and all that, I think the government needs to declare an emergency on this area. But it's quite unfortunate that the government cannot even think it towards this side, doesn't even confine them. As long as their children are in abroad or going to Dubai, going to UK to stay, all this thing doesn't confine them. Every day, especially in Osun State, in Ogun State, in Ondo State, all this area are the most cold area in this thing. This thing, all the native doctors are just deceiving children. They're talking them into drinking body parts, you know, just to make wealth. And secondly, our society is becoming something else. Nobody wants to even hear. If you come to my street in Magodo, the whole of the Lagos State, the whole of Magodo, the whole of Isheri, if Yahoo is just like a normal thing, man, nobody cares. 15-year-old is buying lessons. One just bought the lady in my street. I was just looking and saying, well, how will I do? Every day I cry. I mean, what I'm thinking, is it where my own children will grow up? Is it what they are coming up to face? If nothing is happened now, I'm sorry. I need to take a little time. When Buhari came to power, I thought maybe they were coming to cleanse Nigeria, but it's unfortunate that Buhari trusted, nothing happened. That means nobody can repeat this country again. Lai Mohammed, those days when they were in power, I would text Lai Mohammed and tell him this is what is going on. He wouldn't say anything, but if I praise him or something, that's the way he will reply me. That was when I knew that we are finished. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. I want us to talk a bit more about having our guards up, because it is Yoruba will say kokoro tinje for ara follower. Like, for something to kill you, it's close to you. In most of these young killings, the one in the universities, they tend to happen by being entrapped by those around. Maybe your boyfriend, or someone is asking you out, or they are luring them through social media, and they're like sexting the person, and then they say, come and let's meet each other, or using money to attract. I think it's important for us to start, what I was talking about it is so that we can people can have their guards up. Our children should have their guards up. You should be able to do what your friend, the person in the salon beside you was able to do. The child was able to call the mom and say, there's something funny going on here. I don't go out often enough to see Yahoo boys, but when I travel, because I'm not in Lagos, when I go to Benin, it is in your face. There's a particular car. It's Benz. There's this particular Benz that everywhere, and they're very young people.
Yes.
They have accidents with the car and abandon it. Like, they drop off the car and then they go and buy another one. They drive it without number plates, and they drive around. So who can we report to say, and you will not be looked at like a witchy auntie or witchy nosy neighbor, because we do need nosy neighbors right now to be able to say that can you just...
We have killed
that system doesn't work.
We need to be able to highlight the fact that these people, there are 3 people that they just moved into this place, 4 boys living in the same 2-bedroom, and they're all driving this car. We don't know what they're doing. Just come and ask.
So we've rendered the concerned neighbor to a gossip. And that's a sad reality. Some time back, I talked about the woman who wouldn't breastfeed her baby.
Yes.
And I said it was a personal decision. I would be on top of it. So this woman had 2 babies before. She does really nothing. She just, she's a housewife, less busy person, but she chooses to drop the babies and just go on a waka waka kind of thing, not breastfeeding the babies. It was a topic around the neighborhood. Everybody, why is this woman doing like this? But nobody would call the woman to order. I was wondering, but this is not how society works. Yeah. It's not supposed to be a topic. It's supposed to be why is this happening? It's supposed to be a concern you address. And so after 2 people sharing, I just went and said, you must breastfeed your baby exclusively. I don't see the reason why not. And she was shocked. I brought her to tears. I said the harsh words to her, and I saw her change. Usually when I come in and there's a new baby around, I want to carry the baby from me. I don't do for this particular one. I check on the baby and say, hey, she's improving now. Do the right thing. Let them call you that name. Do it. That's society. It's now become, because me, I don't want her to say, no. How did you get here?
Well, you can't. You might want to go and meet all those boys. Look very, very. When you see those boys, look very, very hard. You can't go and talk to them.
They will know you, but they will know to stay away from you because of your stand. But you must take that stand. Yes. What we don't do now, we don't take the stand.
Are you going to ask somebody what you are doing for a living?
If you are a young boy born around me, I will ask you what you are doing for a living. Your failure to answer me, you will know not to be around me. You won't come to you are not welcome around me. You are not welcome to my house. You can't be a nephew, cousin, niece, and you're welcome to my house without a means of it's not possible. Nobody possible. Maybe because I know because of this way I am safe. They don't.
So you're saying based on your relationship with the person.
Yes. Okay. So instead of making it mama somebody's child is not well raised. Why not tell the child?
Most of these Yahoo boys, most of them, they are the ones that rent all this Airbnb. They're always there. That's the hub where they carry out this whole thing. And also, they are also involved in this ritual killing. Let's even find out where these ritual killings that they are doing, these body parts, who do they take them to? Who are the people that demand for them?
That'll be from
we have our politicians. Yeah, so we are not even mentioning those ones too. The politicians are part of this.
The ones that are covering now.
Then we are also some politicians is there. then the Yahoo boys, because also when they click the deal, they want it to click. So somebody has made it in their head that once they take part in all this ritual stuff, it's going to make it happen. So now all these things are happening because of money. Just like you said, once we bring somebody to book and we're able to, pass the law or something on them, it will drastically reduce. It will really reduce.
Yeah. Okay, so, there used to be a time, I think it still happens, when something bad or gruesome happens to a woman, the first thing you hear is, women, be careful. It used to irritate me. I'm like, is it about the woman or about the killer, murderer, rapist? Who lured her? And it used to irritate me then because these were people who, especially in cases where a girl has done exactly what she's meant to do. She is where she's meant to be. She's not out too late. She's not dressed any sort. And this sort of thing happens. And, people seem to still find a way to blame the woman. But, looking at that, having said that, which is, for me, it was for society to think again about who the real victim was and who the perpetrator of a crime is, be able to separate the two. But now, but this conversation also does not mean that girls should not be careful. So when I was growing up, I remember my mom worked so hard. And sometimes I would have to take my sister to school or come back. And I would have to take like 2 taxis before I get home. But there was a sort of person that my mom would describe. Don't enter any car. Don't enter a car with tinted whatever. Don't let anybody offer you lift. So I sort of knew these were the things, as a child in primary school, I'm not even talking secondary school, these were the things I had to, that were in my head. And when I see something that looks like it, I don't even wait to find out if the thing is bad or not. I just know that these are the markers that my mom has given me to protect myself. Now for young girls, this conversation is not the same as young girls, be careful because it's your fault, but also, like my mom did for me, I think we should also have some markers so that we can protect ourselves. You see these relationships where you get into with young boys who have wealth that you cannot explain, and you're just excited about being with a young boy with wealth that you cannot explain, it's a red flag. Be careful of such relationships. Don't get into intimate relationships with them. Don't even be friends with them, because how they make their money may be something that would involve having to use you for rituals. And I'm not only talking to girls, boys too. Don't be friends with boys that are like that, because there have been cases of young boys that have taken their friends to these places for sacrifices. So do not be impressed by someone who's showing you wealth and there's no way to show for how they have worked for that wealth. So it's not to just blame the victim here, it's that we also need to pay more attention to some things. Parents, a young man comes to your house, he has all this wealth, he's showering you with all these gifts because of your daughter. You don't know him from anywhere, you don't know how that child is making money, but you're excited and you're collecting it. That is also a red flag for you, So these are the things that we need to remember and remind ourselves so that we protect ourselves from evil people like this.
Thank you so much, Mariam. It is a good note for us to round off this segment. We would have our, the things that she has said, the things that we've all said can become talking points in families, in discussions, so that we can start educating ourselves and educating others to question what we don't know, question materialism, question greed. We'll be bringing in a celebrity guest onto the show. I would like to ask him the impact of Nollywood on this materialism ritual killing, because the first time I heard of ritual killing, it was in movies. I didn't even think it was real. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Joining us in this particular segment is a Nollywood actor whose impressive range and ability to bring life into diverse roles has made him well known. He first came into my own perspective in the hit movie The Rattlesnake, the Hannah story, and has turned a large part of the audience into fans with his impressive acting range. Yep. Welcome with us, Onyebuchi Franklin Odurukwe. Yay! We know him online as Buchi Franklin. He's joining the conversation, telling us about the new Nollywood. Tell us about the fact that you're always playing bad guy.
Oh, wow.
Very suspicious bad guy. But you can join the conversation and farms him the way we are going to be doing over the next few minutes. You can call us on the numbers on your screen right now, which is 0810-7641-679, or you could tweet to us. We'd love to hear from you. So, Guy.
Wow.
Welcome to Your View. Get comfortable. Well, fans will love you. But we won't talk about the How did you find yourself in the movie industry? You know, because you're smart, look good, and we want to make money. And what we've heard about the Nigerian movie industry is like this money is not as fast as they expect it to be. Is it a passion? Is it a calling? Is it something you've always wanted to do? So studied in school, or how did you find yourself in our movie industry?
Thank you for that. I mean, like you said, you started the answer for me because I say it's a calling. Yeah, because I tell people this is my means of evangelism.
Ooh.
You know, so yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. And I started really early from church. I was the youngest kid in the men's drama fellowship.
Okay.
You know, so imagine playing an elder in an Anglican church. You know, you have like men in their 50s, and I think I was like 13 at the time. You know, so it's always been there. You know, so I'm not surprised that I'm here right now. I have to say this. I am a big fan of you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I love watching. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's it.
Let me just farms you. So wait, are you really from Liberia or Ghana?
He's Nigerian.
I am Nigerian.
Hey! Hey, well, you don't watch movies and the name called the cast Buche and the way he spelled, I said, no, the guy is
Ghanaian.
No, so I had to change the name because at the time when I started, we had Buchi the comedian, Buchi the gospel artist.
Okay.
So I needed to, you know, identify.
So I really, also, I'm trying to remember the YouTube videos I saw you act Lovable.
Okay.
I've always seen you as the ruthless, somebody, bad guy. You play it so well.
Wow, thank you.
So it has to, I used to think, you know the way we stereotype people, you have to be naturally a bad guy. So you have to explain. Is it
It looks very gentle here.
And let me just add, it's in the way you play it. It's like silently bad. Like it just oozes out. It's not like he's acting aggressive. You just know that this person is evil.
Wow. I mean, so you see the thing is, before you get any character, they send you a character Bible. You know, so I go through it and I understand what this character entails. I don't get to do too many projects. I'm not on every flick that comes out, so I take my time, you know, and I feel like that's why, by the grace of God, I get cast for, you know, these roles that I play. But my dear, I am the sweetest person ever.
Oh, if you did say so yourself.
Who can we ask to confirm that? Is there somebody that can help us confirm it? Like a young lady somewhere?
Of course.
There is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there's someone.
Oh, yes, there is.
So,
Cool.
are you married then?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, but very soon.
I can't wait.
Very
Oh,
soon.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
To say that.
But very soon.
Oh, yeah, of course, very soon.
Okay. Yeah. So amongst all your movies that you've acted and all, which one was most challenging? Amongst all.
So I did a project with the Kemi Adetiba,
Yeah.
Kemanaka. She is a phenomenal woman and director. It's called To Kill a Monkey. It's a Netflix original. I don't know when it's coming out.
It's not out, yeah, because I'm like, well, one of those waiting for it to drop.
I'm
Okay.
waiting for it.
Okay.
The movie never comes.
You know, so to buttress what you asked about playing a bad guy, I did a lot of unspeakable things, you know, to be in that character. Because I played an Edo boy, a Benin boy, a hot-headed Benin boy. You know, and I've never been, the longest I've been in Benin is 24 hours when I went to push a film for Trino Productions, the owners of The Weekend that I just shot. So I told a friend of mine to help me out with, because in Benin, the sand, it's red.
Yes.
You know, it's muddy. Like, so I wanted, so I wanted the soil and pure water, just to be able to connect with, you know, the Edo people. I needed pure water from Edo, from Benin, not Edo, Benin. You know, because I've never been there. You know, and the only friend I have that is Benin, he's quite polished. You know, so Sabi Adehi, no, he's not street. You know, so I had to do my own research. You know, I had to go online. I watched a couple of videos. I was watching comedians from Benin.
How they sound.
You know, and most importantly, I had to ask my Heavenly Father for access, you know, and I got it. So yes, I was
We should
evil,
be.
you know,
In
the
all
character.
Do you feel you're always
Sure, okay.
like? Do you feel like you've had more roles in being the hard guy and the bad guy?
I mean, evidently, yes. You know,
Yeah.
because Rattlesnake, Nze was a hothead, Far From Home, Brother Government, like Ishaya would say. Government was a, you know,
Do you choose those
Bad
roles
guy.
or they make you
I'm so here.
take those roles?
I will wake up on a Sunday and Tuesday.
There's
When
something that
it
is
comes.
Well, I'd say that the people that hire me understand that I take my job seriously. You know, I have a film in the cinema right now. It's called The Weekend. And I have to say this about the production company that hired me to do this film, Trino Productions. I've done a couple of films with them. There's one on Netflix. It's called The One for Sarah. And in that film, I wasn't a bad guy. Oh, you have to. You have to. It's a beautiful piece. And so the one I have in the cinema right now, which is called The Weekend, is a story about a dysfunctional family that are cannibals.
Wow.
You know, so I'm not a bad guy per se, but
you're
I'm
a
a
cannibal.
bad guy.
Oh, let's go for the clip. I'd like us to watch the trailer of that particular movie.
Maybe we should end this. It's very obvious you're hiding something.
Trust me, yeah? Yeah, people you or anyone should not know.
Look here, my parents, Mrs. Amicha Chazeta, and the old man is Chief Medic Chazeta.
You need to run away from here as fast as you can.
What are you talking about?
All right, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Mariam had a question.
Well, first, you know, to the trailer that we've just seen,
Yeah.
I give a lot of kudos to our actors. You do an amazing job, but I'm looking at directing, just production in general. A lot of things have improved. Looking at that trailer, I just want to get to watch it. I already feel the suspense, you know. So well done to that production.
Thank you.
But I would like to know, like personally, going into acting, I know you talked about how you started as a young child, but was there ever a time you doubted yourself or felt discouraged or thought maybe this was not the path for you? Because many times we hear conversations of how people get into acting and some people just tend to excel and excel in a lot of money that comes to them. And then some people, it seems like it's building. How was there ever a time, you know, you felt that maybe this wasn't for me, and how did you handle that, if you did?
I mean, like every other industry, there are woes, you know. I did, when I started, it wasn't quite palatable, I won't lie. But I stayed in it because, like I said, this is a calling for me, so it's beyond my circumference or the traction that, you know, that comes with being an actor. Yes, there were hurdles. Yes, I went for auditions and I didn't get picked. And because I didn't live in Lagos at the time. You know, I moved from Abuja to Lagos. I was doing radio in Abuja, and my best friend at the time, Dr. Inya Lawal, said to me, bro, you got to come to Lagos. Stop what you're doing. You studied theater arts, so why you know...
Not applying that.
Yeah. So I jumped on a plane with 1,150 naira in my account. Yeah, and I showed up in Lagos, and I came for a reality TV show that I got picked. We flew to Ghana. I came back to Lagos. I was supposed to go to the States for a month and 2 weeks. but I got denied my visa. So I stayed back in Lagos. And she calls me up, listen, I know you're down. Your plan was to go to Hollywood and do,
Hollywood things.
Yeah. But AY has an audition. He's doing a sitcom. This was 2012. So just go for it. I was like, listen, I'm out. I don't have money. I don't have the time. Please don't disturb me. She said, just go for it, bro. And I go for it, and the rest is history. I'm doing season 2 with AY, and myself and AY, we just did a film. It's called The Waiter. It's coming out in December. It's a beautiful piece. I'm not gonna lie. AY Ayo Makun outdid himself. The story, it's that film that will put us, on the map. Yeah, because it's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one.
There's something I see in the industry where, we have veterans and then we have, some actors who are made to be in the shadows. I felt that way when I watched Merry Men 3.
Right.
It felt like, taking Jim Ike out was, opening the door for you to then come in. Have you ever felt in such a way in any of this, in your career?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a spiritual person, so if a project doesn't come to me, it's God's will. You get what I mean? Being in Merry Men 3, I didn't see it happening. I didn't, I'm not gonna lie. And I got a call from the producer, Darlington, and Darlington was like, yo, we need you on Merry Men 3. I'm like, okay. I didn't do 1, I didn't do 2. 3 isn't a bad number. And I jumped on it. I didn't even know Jim Ike was on it because I haven't seen it. If it does happen to you, you do part 1 or you're in a sequel and they kick you out. It's not because you're bad. It's not because, it's just divine. There are other projects that are going to come that will stand the test of time. Do you get what I mean? So it's not a problem. As a matter of fact, I look forward to mishaps like that because it gives me the opportunity to challenge my Heavenly Father and say, oh, okay, I missed out on this. And to my earthly knowledge, this is meant to be the project. But what God has in store for me is way bigger.
So you mentioned,
let's go into a little bit. Let's go a little bit private.
Okay.
Let's ask you something.
Private?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me cover up now.
What did you study in school? Let's get to know you. Also, what was your first movie?
My first movie? My first movie is Bambitious.
Seriously?
I think it's on YouTube. Bambitious, that was a romantic drama, I think. I had dreadlocks at the time. Belinda Effa, Daniel K. Daniel, Lady Ebele Okaro.
Since you started with some big names.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were very favored in this journey. Did you hustle a lot before getting...
I wouldn't say I hustled, because,
You explained the radio thing.
I did, I started with AY. The sitcom, AY's Crib. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
It was quite big at the time. So after doing that, the writer on AY's Crib introduced me to a director.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got on that film, and
the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history.
There's something I noticed. You talk about God a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you think celebs and all these Nollywood people are just balling. You don't need God, but you seem to mention him a lot. I know you mentioned Anglican Church, but usually we don't see people. Yes, it's Pentecostals. If you had said Redeem or one of those, So could you tell us about your journey, your spiritual journey? Is this something you'd like to share?
I mean, of course. I give kudos to my mother for setting a foundation for me, and it's not been easy, but you just need to have the consciousness of Jesus in what you do. It's beyond your denomination. You can go to church every day and still, because I heard you guys talking about ritual and all whatnot. Some of these kids go to church.
Yes.
They pay fat tithes, and the pastor's not going to say no to that. Do you get what I mean? So it's just having the consciousness of Christ in you, and that's my journey. That's my personal journey with God, being conscious of what I'm doing, being kind to the next person, you know, and basically just being conscious. So you know the difference between right and wrong. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's an everyday tussle. Yeah.
Sorry, so you
mentioned
didn't tell us
the
what
study
you
set
studied.
at.
Oh, I studied
Yeah,
theatre.
you mentioned it earlier
University of Abuja.
before you asked the question.
Yeah,
Yes.
University of Abuja.
I wanted to. You're not on social media like the way celebrities are on social media. Like you're not everywhere. We don't see you shutting down the clubs or doing
no
all of that. You're not
pictures and
peppering us
videos.
with your muscles and all of that. And you also mentioned that you don't just act in any movie. And yet you're the same person that said you came to Lagos without much. So I'm wondering, at what point did the trust fund kick in? Because if you were comfortable enough not to pick some stories because you did not like the story, it didn't mean you have
just had
money.
standards.
Or how did you survive in that process of selecting what you wanted to do?
I get what you're trying to say. So this is my advice to you, if you're listening, right? Ijebu Gari is very cheap. So so you go drink out. So you would drink it. So I had months when I was, you know, enjoying my kuli kuli and Ijebu Gari and saying no to productions that I don't want to do, especially characters, not even productions, characters that I don't want to do, that I don't connect with, that wouldn't tell my story. Because as an actor, yes, there is the character that you're playing, but you're telling a story, right? So a little bit of you is in that character. Do you get what I'm saying? So I had years of not doing anything, and I would wait and pray. And I'd like to say thank you to my big sis, Nenna, for accommodating me at the time, because, you know, she was more than an angel, you know. So there are times, there are hard times. There are hard times, and you must stay there. You have to stay there, because at the end of the day, if you don't, you're going to miss out on this beautiful table with these beautiful women. You get what I'm saying? So,
Thank you for that.
We have some of your fans on our YouTube. Mina says, I first saw him on AY script, fantastic actor.
Thank you.
Yes. Someone else. One fan.
Yeah, in fact, they are browsing your chest. They say they always open chest inside a movie. Say, fine chest. Please, I want to see and move.
Oh, wow.
So that's September production. A lot of them are, you know, fans of yours, and they have list of movies
that they have seen you
been in. Yeah. One says, but he likes to play bad guy too much.
And you should go and watch The Weekend.
Okay.
The Weekend is in cinemas. I mean,
so, do you have any comments you want to take? Or your final comments? Obviously, you've spoken about The Weekend. Can you give us details about how people can get to see that, and what else you're working on?
Okay, so The Weekend is in cinemas across the country. It is a beautiful piece that I am very proud of. It did so well outside the shores of this country. I think it's the first Nigerian film to be picked by Tribeca in over 22 years. And Tribeca is the biggest American film festival. It also got picked by Scream, which is the biggest American horror film festival. It's screening at the British Film Institute Festival. It's also screening at the biggest film festival in Europe, Austria, actually. So it's a film this film was shot in 2022, right? And by the grace of God, it's done so well abroad. It will be a shame, an embarrassment.
If it's not replicated.
Yeah, if us as a people, because it's our film. You know, it's our film. It's made in Nigeria. So it's time that we.
So this is a weekend movie, guys.
Yes.
Let's support our own and support Buchi Franklin. I'm definitely looking forward to watching it, and any other thing. And once I see your face, you know, your face now means it's a good movie. So cheers for all the good work you're doing, and we pray that God will continue to support you to tell the story, tell his story, tell the right story. That's what we can take on the show today. Of course, Your View Pigeon will be on tomorrow. See you. Bye.
Is it the weekend already?
Yes, it is the weekend already.